So often we believe we are not good enough, and that's actually something that makes me really sad, but it's something that I see in myself, and as a coach I see in so many other people, that we grew up believing we're not good enough, we are not valuable enough, we are not perfect just the way we are, with all our flaws and all our things that society or our parents or friends or people reflect back to us are not good. Or we, like, there's so many women who question their value and their worth, especially when it comes to performance in a job, because this world is, it's it's a man's world. It's made by men, it's made for men, let's face it. If you have heard of polarity before, you will know that we all have both energies inside of us, masculine and feminine. So heterosexual men usually have more masculine energy, and heterosexual women usually have more feminine energy. But we all of us have both energies in us, and masculine energy is focused, is driven, is going for it, has a goal, and actually the drive to make it happen. So it's very linear, very straightforward. And the feminine energy is very much in flow and intuition and empathic and intuitive and sensitive. And feminine flows more like that. There's no straight line. It's not, there's a goal, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to make it happen. But feminine works more based on intuition, on gut feeling, on heart inspiration. So, and we all have all of this in us. Feminine is more emotional, masculine is more rational. So, but this world, let's face it, is made by men for men. So at work, if you come with your feminine intuition and you say, I feel like we might do it this way, and I don't feel like posting something today, or I don't feel like, I feel it's not ripe yet, or you have just a sensation that you cannot explain, or an intuition that you cannot explain with your rational mind, people will look at you and think you're nuts. This is a man's world. It's a man's world where you believe you have to do things a certain way. You have to go, do. You have to be better than everybody else. You have to compare. You have to compete. You have to exhaust yourself. And so often in this world, we judge others, we try to be better, and we constantly have this feeling of not being enough. And this is not just women, it's also men. Also, men believe they're not enough. And for women, like most women suffer, not most women, but it's the majority of burnout patients that are women, because our hormonal, our whole systems, our nervous systems, they are not made for this. They are not made for this constant stress. So men can handle it better because we basically have a different biology, a different body. And then this whole you got to be better, you got to be productive, you got to achieve more by the hour. So for instance, women, we might not have a tendency to work as much all of the time, but we function more in cycles. So it's like with our periods are based on the sun and the moon and a cycle, like the ocean is, like moved by the tides are moved by the moon. So we have actually, when you study the feminine cycle, you see that there's a week where we are like super productive, and then there's a week where it's kind of like plateauing, and then there's a week where it's kind of like dropping a little bit, and then a week when we have our periods where we are like more internal and really connected to, like back in the days when they had when they acknowledged women's wisdom more, they actually had a place where women who would menstruate would go during their menstruation, and the men would come and ask them about their dreams, because they said that whenever women had their periods, they would be more connected to something bigger, the bigger picture. So they had actually oracular capacities, and they had visions, and they would come true. So men would actually honor that. And our whole society, this is nothing that you could imagine right now. So our whole society is not it's actually not made for women. So this is the reason why it can feel, especially for women, so much so that we're not good enough, we're not capable enough, we cannot keep up the pace. And especially after the women's rights movement, I don't call myself a feminist. I know we needed feminists to kind of like, be able to also get basic rights, because like 100 years ago we were not allowed to vote. And I know that my grandmother, like 50 years ago, had to ask my granddad if he allowed her to take the job, so she wouldn't get the job without his permission, which is insane. So women are not free to choose and are not empowered for a very long time. But what this feminism, this okay, we can do what you can do, did was also it made women become men. It made women step into their masculine, into their I can do what you can do, I can work twice as hard, I can also take care of the kids, and I can also do all of the other things in my life. And this is why women are actually burned out, because we try to do everything for everyone and we try to be men, basically. And I'm not saying we cannot do that. We can do all of this. But for women to thrive in a workspace, we need different conditions. We need different conditions that actually include a woman's physiology, biology, her psychology, and it's all not included, it's all not valued, it's all not seen. And this is why there's so much burnout, this is why there's so much depression, this is why there's such a frustration, especially in corporate environments. And this is why people drop out of work. And what we would need would be a shift.